I had been on the run now for nearly 3 months, hopping from town to town, living in cheap motels, and sleeping in my car when I couldn't find a better option. Paranoia was my constant companion. I couldn't shake the feeling that they were always a step behind me, ready to pounce the moment I let my guard down. When I stumbled upon the old farmhouse, half hidden by the woods and far from any neighbors, I thought I'd finally found the perfect place to hide. The house was abandoned, though it had retained a curtain-eerie charm. Its exterior was weathered and covered in ivy, with broken windows and a sagging roof. But inside, it was surprisingly well kept. Dust coated the floors, but the furniture was intact, and it even had running water. I convinced myself that the state of the place meant no one had been there for years, that I was safe. The first few nights were uneventful, almost peaceful. I set up in the master bedroom upstairs, the only room that felt somewhat welcoming despite the cold drafts that seeped through the walls. There was a strange stillness in the house, an unnatural quiet that I chalked up to its isolation. But the feeling of being watched never left me, no matter how much I tried to convince myself it was just the nerves. It was on the fourth night that I heard it, a faint scratching noise coming from somewhere within the walls. I bolted upright in my bed, my heart hammering in my chest. The sound was subtle, almost imperceptible, but unmistakable in the dead silence of the house. I listened intently, trying to locate its source, but it seemed to move, shifting from one side of the room to the other. I spent hours that night searching the walls for any sign of what could be causing the noise, but I found nothing. The next day, I explored the rest of the house, looking for loose boards or hidden doors, anything that could explain the sound. That's when I noticed it. A slight indentation in the wall at the end of the upstairs hallway. It was easy to miss, just a hairline crack running vertically along the wallpaper. Curiosity and desperation got the better of me, and I pried at the crack with my fingers until a section of the wall gave way, revealing a narrow door. The door was old, made of heavy wood, and it had no handle. Just a small, keyhole-shaped opening at eye level. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up as I realized that this door had been deliberately hidden, sealed away from anyone who might stumble upon it. Despite the dread pooling in my stomach, I couldn't resist the urge to see what was behind that door. It took all my strength to push it open, the wood creaking loudly as it scraped against the floor. The room inside was small, no bigger than a walk-in closet, and completely dark. The air that rushed out smelled stale, like it hadn't been disturbed in decades. I reached for my flashlight and shone it into the room. What I saw next made my blood run cold. The walls were lined with old, yellow photographs, hundreds of them, each one showing different people, men, women, children, all staring directly into the camera, their expressions blank, almost lifeless. But what truly terrified me was the realization that the same room appeared in every photograph. The small, dark room I was standing in. There was something else in the room too, something that caught the light as I swept the beam around. In the far corner, half hidden in the shadows, was an old wooden chair, its legs uneven and its seat worn. The scratching noise echoed again, this time louder, coming from directly beneath the chair. I backed out of the room, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst open. I slammed the door shut, sealing it back up as best as I could, and fled to the bedroom, locking the door behind me. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't erase the image of those photographs from my mind. The way those people seemed to be staring right through me. That night, the scratching returned, louder and more insistent, as if something was trying to claw its way out of the walls. I huddled in bed, too terrified to move, praying for it to stop, but it only grew louder. The door at the end of the hallway began to rattle, as if someone or something was trying to open it from the other side. I couldn't stay in that house any longer. As soon as daylight broke, I grabbed my things and ran, not stopping until I was miles away. But even now, I can't shake the feeling that I'm still being followed, that whatever was in that room is still with me, lurking just out of sight, waiting for the right moment to strike. I should have never opened that door. Some secrets are meant to stay buried.